Welcome, welcome. Welcome to today's video. And today we're talking about being in alignment. I talk a lot about this. I mention alignment. And today I want to explain a bit more what does it actually mean being in alignment and what does it mean in terms of really being there as maybe the goal of life and the way of getting there. So, how we can work on getting there and what's essential in basically then, because to me, being in alignment is being with harmony, in harmony with life and being like fully satisfied. And no matter what you're doing, you're feeling good and you know how to work with yourself, you know how to understand yourself, you know how to learn. And so life becomes easy in alignment. In non alignment, you're still the victim, you're still suffering, you need pain, you need physical pain, you need pain to learn. You need bad situations, you need bad things happening for you, you need a lack, you really crave a lack of things, of money, of abundance, of relationships, lack of certain emotions and things like that. And alignment is where it all comes together. Basically, we feel good and we know how to learn without the self punishment, without the pain. Because the pain always invites us to readjust things, and the pain also informs us about how much tension has been accumulated, and we don't want that tension because tension is not alignment, tension is fear and uncomfortableness accumulated. But at the same time, I want to share my recent experience from a sound healing session, which, by the way, was amazing. I highly recommend it. And it was very, again, eye-opening, and it invites me experiencing these things, always invites me to look at things and maybe gain the perspective when I connect to different healers. I can reassess where I'm at or how I'm viewing things, how I'm viewing the world. And so I saw two like main, I would say, symbols, which I'm gonna explain here during that session. So what I observe from my own personal perspective and from my viewing of the world, and which is so common. I am sure I do it. I'm sure all of you do it, and this is the thing, that this is about the noticing what we do and how we can better ourselves and ease ourselves into that in alignment, which doesn't mean doing more. Alignment doesn't mean doing more for having more, doesn't mean giving more out of yourself and having more in return. Because the big misperception about life and the big misunderstanding, even I would say, is that we give constantly, we give more, and we expect to have more with giving more. But if you break it down and you just break it to a simple situation, you're giving, but you're expecting to have more. How is that even possible? If you're giving, then you have less, obviously, giving out of yourself. You need to also have the time where you're receiving. Otherwise, it's an imbalance. So constant giving is always going to be an imbalance, and we can't expect us being giving in all the aspects of our lives and still them being harmonized. So a lot of the times coming back into alignment is learning how to equilibrate this giving and receiving, or we're receiving and we're not giving, and then again another imbalance. So it will be a lot about figuring these out. But what I wanted to mention about the sound healing session, so the sound of the gongs absolutely powerful, amazing. I still feel it. I am sure I'm still gonna feel it for many days. I think it has a very large impact, and this is one of the aspects what I want to talk about. So, what we do, and us being here, us only being here, and us doing something intuitively, because obviously the healer expert giving the sound bath was extremely professional. He developed an insanely amazing technique where he feels what he's doing. He can't even hear it, but he can feel it in all the aspects of his body, which to me it's beyond amazing. And this is what usually I would say, or what I've been viewing, is that we underestimate what an impact us just being here is, what an impact us just being here has, and doing what we do best, like intuitively, with ease. We underestimate that so much, and that is actually the source of our power, the source of our potential. The real aligned doing doesn't even feel like doing. The real aligned doing comes natural. What you're so best of at observing at others, or whatever it is for you, that is the zone of genius. This is the source of all your abundance, of all your potential, of everything. And it's something that comes easy to you, and that something that doesn't feel like doing. But what we do instead, we take this as for sure, as for granted, and we take this as we assume everyone sees it that way. We assume everyone can do this because we know, if you're on the self-healing journey, you know everyone can heal themselves. And you are able to develop the sensitivity towards yourself. You're able to develop connection to intuition, and you actually are able to develop the knowing at all times, to know what's the best for you, to know what you need, to know what you want, to know how you want to feel, to be able to feel that way. You're able to do that all of that is just possible for you. But what limits us in then sharing this, maybe, and then resonating this into the world and actually receiving in return, because this is the giving. Okay, we've been giving ourselves that teaching, we've been learning, but the receiving in return stops at that point at, well, everyone knows how to do that. That's nothing special. Everyone must know. It's so easy for me to come back to myself, to connect to my intuition. Then everyone must be able to do it, right? And this is what I saw on that session, that the music and the way it was performed was so powerful on one side, but we are the limit. The person, our being, is the limit, who basically makes it smaller, the performance. We're the only ones who can make our own value smaller, our literal performance of being here smaller. We're the only ones who can make this smaller. And it's such a shame, because obviously we can reach unlimited potential. We can be the best in that our zone of genius in the whole world, because every one of us has the different zone of genius. That's why we came here all unique. So it's not someone there that's a genius. Every one of you listening to this has their own zone of genius. And the only thing you need to do is to see it and value it for yourself, and at the same time become aware that you're the only one limiting it. You're the only one at the end of the day who's going to be putting a price to it, because it's priceless. Who's going to be explaining yourself, over explaining yourself, where we waste a lot of our energy and over explaining ourselves, why we do what we do, how we do it, how it's supposed to affect you. That's not our responsibility. What it does, because it will create both triggers and activations of the world, because that's why you came here, to perform in your zone of genius. And whatever that is, then you can figure it out by connecting to yourself, coming back to that alignment. But know that always you're gonna be the only one limiting it. Because no matter what others think, we will assume they think the worst. Or we will assume the way we think about ourselves. We will assume they think about us that way. If we're not confident enough in it, if we're not aware of it. A lot of stuff coming up still from the session. Yeah, I can feel it. It's powerful. It's a powerful message, and I can feel it going through my body. This sometimes happens when there's a lot. And yeah, it's wonderful, actually. It's a powerful message. So we are the only ones who can express ourselves in the easy way, where the doing becomes synced with the being. That's where you live your purpose. That's where you over and over live your different purposes that you came here to live. When the being and the doing become one, basically. When what you're doing and what's bringing abundance and money and relationships into your life is aligned with who you are. But there's no need of explaining yourself. There's no need of limiting yourself anymore. But also being aware of the fact that we're doing that is a good start, is a good awareness. So that was one of the levels I saw, and it's so common. Okay, we have so much power, but we don't realize the power, and we become limit our own limits, and we limit ourselves into over explaining of how it's gonna react, or why we're doing what we're doing, how we're doing, and things like that. And maybe it's not a shame, maybe it's the way it is, but at the same time we need to become aware of it, that no one's gonna give us that worth. No one's gonna go and give us that appreciation that only we can give to ourselves. It's a bonus if someone says, wow, that was a nice sound healing session. It's a bonus if someone appreciates what you're doing. But you need to be the number one who appreciates it. You need to be the one to see that value. And this is what basically creating your brand on top of yourself or something like that is. It's discovering that potential you have, that superpower, that zone of genius, and everyone has it. It's not like you've been excluded of this giving. You've been given it. It's a part of you. You can't not have it. But the self-healing journey is also about rediscovering this, re-realizing it, or maybe remembering, oh, wow, look at that. And then you're gonna see the impact it has. Once you become fully aligned with it, yeah, this is what I want to do. This is how long I want to do it per day. It complements with my lifestyle, and it comes hand in hand, and it's great. And the second observation, which beautifully plays into this topic, into being in alignment. The second was a visualization that we had there, which I have been to many visualizations, or I've been practicing them for maybe 3 years with different guidances, with different coaches, with different approaches. And an interesting thing to me was that, yeah, we had a visualization, and we had a scene where we were basically liberating ourselves of all fear. I think there were four aspects. There was fear, guilt, regret, and something else. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But what I understand, and to me, alignment is a bit different. I do, um, let's say, honor, or let's say, I do recommend you working with your fear, definitely. You processing your past fear from trauma, from childhood, etc. It's a very important exercise, I would say, in getting to know yourself, in getting to know your nervous system, etc., etc. It's very important. Um, it's very important to be able to feel these feelings. I'm just gonna drink a little bit. Something's coming up strongly. So it's very important to work with your different emotions. But to me, freeing yourself of fear completely, freeing yourself of guilt completely, freeing yourself of regret completely, that's not necessarily alignment, and that's not even possible, and that shouldn't even be our goal. Because what would we be without fear? Someone fearless, being fearless isn't healthy. Having a healthy amount of fear is necessary for you. Fear is here for a great reason. Fear is here to protect you, as is anger. All of these different aspects of you and emotions help you reestablish your boundaries, and they're always here for you. A lot is coming up. A lot of downloads. A lot of downloads. I'm sorry. I'm gonna finish this thought, and I think that will be it. Let's see if I can finish it. Yeah. Okay, so it's a very important part on the self healing journey. We often feel like once we have no fear, we can start. We can start healing ourselves, creating our dream life, dream business, dream money situation, dream relationship, etc., etc. Once we free ourselves from the regrets, from the guilt, from all of that stuff. But is that true? Is that even possible? I've never done anything without fear, I would say. Fear is there. You take it with you into your backpack and go. You do it with fear. You learn how to work with fear. You learn how to work with regrets and learn from them. You learn how to work with guilt and learn from it. All of these emotions and all of these aspects of us shouldn't be tying us up. At that stage, definitely, we need to release the fear. We need to forgive ourselves. We need to let go. We need to forgive ourselves that we didn't know a different way how to do things. We didn't know how to be there for ourselves, how to protect ourselves. We allowed ourselves to go through that stuff. And that's something we need to process on the beginning of the self-healing journey. That's necessary. But at the same time, the goal isn't freeing yourself of these aspects. They're always going to be there, and you need them. They're going to always be part of you. And being in alignment is understanding that you can do and live your dream life with fear, and you can live it with joy and with happiness and with anger and with frustration, because those are the emotions, that the energy is all part of you. Those are all the energies part of you, and they're all one. All energy has just different aspects to it. It's all a part of you. And the alignment is not freeing yourself, not numbing yourself, not just being in the neutral zone and being like, yeah, whatever, yeah, whatever. It can be one of the ways of leading a life. It can be for some time very healthy for you to recharge, receive again, restore that energy, being in that Zen state. But at the same time, you came here to experience. You came here to experience all of those emotions, to explore your limits, to explore how much you can feel of those different aspects, how much bravery you can show alongside with the fear, how much of everything you can experience, and how much of yourself you can see. So the goal is definitely not freeing yourself of all of those, because it's more about accepting that you have those, you have these aspects, and it's amazing, it's great. We need fear to be there for us. We need love to be there for us. We need anger, we need frustration, we need all of those to truly come into alignment. But we can be in a healthy alignment where we are responsible for ourselves, for our own energy. We're aware of how we talk to ourselves and how we talk to others, and what kind of environment we create around us, that those that are aligned with us want to spend the time with us, want to experience alongside with us. And we just enable ourselves to more opportunities, to more possibilities. We allow ourselves to have more of ourselves as we accept and learn how to work with ourselves and discover ourselves and discover all of our aspects. So this is the coming into alignment. It's understanding I have created my pain. I have created physical, repetitive, chronic pain in my body because I was scared, because I was tense, and still I'm tense and still I'm scared. And how can I release some of that fear and at the same time become friends with that fear? Become friends with that pain. Accept, yeah, that was what I created. I needed it. It allowed me to get until here. It was a great coping mechanism. But at this point, I can see if there's more for me. I can see if there is a pain-free life. And is that actually what I want? And if not, then what is it I want and need right now? And going like this through the nows, but understanding that you're the whole. You're filled with all of these aspects, and they're great. We need to know how to be okay with them and not to need to suppress them anymore, not to need to cover them up with work and stimulation and social media and addictions and coffee and things like that. Okay? So the alignment is where you no longer need, but you're at the same time in harmony with giving and receiving. You no longer have a obsessive need that creates pain and tension in your body, but you are free to receive and to give, and it all flows in harmony. And you understand, okay, this is the limit. When you getting out of the alignment, okay, and you're getting yourself back to that alignment within yourself. You know what practices to do to calm your nervous system, you know how to work with yourself, you know where to step out of the comfort zone to move towards what you want. You have the healthy visions, and at the same time, you have something that keeps you safe. Okay, so it's working with all and accepting the all and acknowledging, observing, just being there with the all. And then the being and the doing becomes one. And that's the true alignment. That's the I'm doing not because I have to and I should and I must and I am expected to, but because it's my being. I'm doing with the being, I'm aligned. I no longer need to experience through fear, but I can experience through alignment, through that harmony within, through that harmony of being able to experience and being able to give and receive. Whew, powerful stuff today. Very grateful to be here. Really grateful you're here listening. And this is what being in alignment is about. So thank you for being here, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.